All righty, I'm live. So I'm only going to be on here for a couple of minutes. I'm doing it this way just because I've been taking carpet out of my house all weekend and I don't have time to make this video. But I wanted to talk about my findings of the mucusless diet, the potatoes versus rice. I wanted to talk about a couple other things. I brought this book over here just to talk about. I don't know if anybody's going to see this. It is morning on a Sunday, so chances are real good. I'm talking to myself, but somebody's joined. Um, so I wanted to talk about potato. I know I keep talking about this, but I finally come to the conclusion that I'm going to be talking about here. And that is that everybody, the only thing that all plant-based doctors seem to agree on is the fact that potatoes are like the kingpin of starches. And I'm having to agree. Morning. I'm having to agree with everybody. I've done this experiment. So I did nothing but potatoes for 2 weeks as my only starch. And then I've only done 1 week of nothing but rice, and it has not been great. It really has not been great. It's, I when I look at the rice diet, when I look at some of these other things, that I've talked about, the Asian people, the Asian people eat their rice with a lot of hot food, with a lot of vegetables, with a lot of vinegar, with a lot of salt. And I think that helps break down the rice that they're eating. Now, if you want to just the most simple, I mean, like I said in this book right here, he says that you should limit. Actually, the one that this camera is setting on, says that you should limit potato or not limit potatoes, but limit all other starches. And I could definitely see that. Whenever when I after about the first 3 or 4 days of just only doing potatoes, my digestion was real good. I was losing weight real fast. And when I added back in the rice, and it's not like I haven't hadn't eaten rice in so long that I wouldn't have the microbiome for it. So after I added back in the rice, man, everything just slowed to a halt. So I have to say that after doing this for 3 weeks now, I'm having to pull the plug on the rice only thing. It just was not working for me. Now, that's not to say that it's not going to work for other people, because it definitely works for a couple billion Asian people, Indian people. The largest populations on the planet eat rice as their main staple. But you also have to look at another huge portion of the globe eats, you know, proportionately more potatoes and is healthy and skinny and everything that they need, and they get everything done that they need to. I'm, 100% pretty much Irish. My ancestors ate, up to I think the highest number I saw back in the 1800s was 18 pounds of potatoes a day. Now, they didn't eat anything else, but 18 pounds. Potatoes are probably the best starch. They digest super easy to most ancient civilizations ate potatoes. Yeah. Yeah. So somebody's talking about that they digest like real good. So the reason for me making this video is if you're having an issue, if you're constantly bloated, if you're having an issue with your digestion, I initially thought that the best thing to do would be to eat white rice, but I'm 100% changing my mind on that. And I know I'm going to get people angry on here about that, but you know you're not consistent. But the thing is I made this channel as this is my journey. I lost 145 pounds. I've kept that off, no problem, but I did want to drop some more weight. And potatoes 100%, or I mean, it's crazy how fast weight was coming off when I was doing nothing but potatoes. Like, just straight up, I was having fruit all day, and then I would give a good hour, maybe 2 hours, and then I would have potatoes and some kind of vegetable of some kind. Do you have to add all that stuff? Probably not. But not everybody's coming from this as a somebody who was on keto for 10 years and kind of has a bad liver and kidneys and all that coming into it. So if you're coming into it from just a standard American diet, sad diet, chances are real good that you don't have to even probably watch this video. But if you're coming into this either from a starvation nation, or if you're coming into this from keto, carnivore, if you're coming into it from like Atkins style, whatever, chances are your liver and your kidneys are having an issue. Especially, a lot of people make comments to me that they also had issues with smelling like ammonia and stomach acid issues. So if you're coming into this, I'm changing my mind on the rice thing, at least in my mind. And maybe your background too. If you're an Asian person watching this, chances are you're genetically more adapted to eating rice. If you're, somebody from Europe, or if you're somebody from South America or something like that, chances are you're genetically disposed more to eating potatoes. So there might be more to even the blood, the bloodlines and all that too. Um, because man, those potatoes are just, you eat them. It's like almost they're so digestible. It's almost like eating fruit, but not quite. So that has my findings. Take what take with it what you will. Everybody, wants to turn everything into the salad word, but the only thing that I think that people should be doing is high carb, low fat. I don't believe in eating a lot of fat. Um, yeah, food has to be hydrating. That's true. I mean, but you do hydrate rice when you eat it. If you guys could hit the like button so it sends this video out more. I guess I'm gonna be on here a little longer. But that's my findings. Anyway, see which one, do your own work. I really like the way I felt on potatoes way more than rice. I even tried making a complete Asian style sauce and everything yesterday, and it really wasn't working for me. The other thing that I wanted to talk about while I'm just talking to myself here is I see a lot of people post about Costco, and a lot of people think that you need to have a Costco or a big box store or something like that to go plant-based, raw, vegan or whatever. And I think that's absolutely just nonsense. I see so many people posting from Costco, including myself. But when I really started watching prices, they're not that cheap, actually. Like I was at a place up here called Meyer, and they had 8-pound bags of oranges for $3.99. And I went to Costco the next day, and they had that exact same bag, exact everything for $8.99. Cara, it's like 4 pounds of Cara for $2.99 at Trader Joe's. It's like double that at Costco. So I would really suggest that you start looking around in your own area and seeing what you can get as far as price goes. I never really watched prices before, I gotta say. I don't know if that's overprivilege or what, but I've never watched prices before. And now that I started to, uh, you know, Costco isn't my thing. I'm not going to be rejoining there. I don't think. Sandy's coming back this way. I actually gave her part of the membership too. If she can use it, then fine, I'll join again. But I'm pretty surprised actually at the deals that I've been able to find at stores just locally, or just go find farmers markets. I know they're hard to find this time of year in the north, but I mean, I was getting 25. No, actually, I was getting 50-pound bags of potatoes for $15 or something like that. And I talked to the growers because the growers are there and they don't use any fungicides, herbicides, or anything else on it. So I would really explore your area and start, maybe making connections with people at farmers markets. I got a huge farmers market. It's called the West Side Farmers Market. It's been on the Food Network like 30 times. So because of that, it's so hard to get in there. It's actually kind of a pain in the ass now because there's so many people. You go there and there's a license plate from like every different state there because everybody wants to see it because it was on the Food Network. It's been on there so many times. So I actually don't even go there too much anymore because it's just too busy there. But so anyway, that's the point of this video is I would do your own experiment. Don't read scientific studies. I mean, it's good to get ideas from YouTube videos or studies or whatever, but most of the stuff is just done on rats or mice or something. Test it out yourself. I was shocked at how much better the potatoes worked than the rice. Just I was shocked by it. So anyway, that's the video. If you guys have any questions, fine, ask them. If not, I think I might just get off because I gotta go tear the rest of this carpet out of here. I'm starting to think that I need to do 24-hour fast. No, fasting is pointless. That's just going to destroy your insulin resistance. I love my Zoe Giraffe. I have no idea. My blood sugar doesn't. No, I see. Fasting is. I really wish that message wasn't out there. Fasting used to be like a religious, like abstaining from food to, as a religious thing, not as a dietary thing. And now people are using it as a dietary thing, and it's really screwing everybody up. My local co-op has reverse osmosis water and deionized from the same price a gallon. Any extra benefits? No, deionized is pointless. Don't do that because it's missing an ion, and it can leach plastic, and it can leach stuff out of your own body and bring it with it. I wouldn't do ionized. The reverse osmosis is best because your body actually uptakes it way better. That's the danger with distilled too. Distilled isn't electric anymore, so it can take plastic, like the BPAs, even if it's BPA free, it can take the BPAs and you're drinking it. So no, if you have reverse osmosis available to you, go reverse osmosis 100%. Deionized, I mean, there's some machines and stuff that need deionized water, but we are not one of those machines. But back on that fasting thing, I really, even some of the raw foodies that I know who've done juice fasts really wish it wasn't around because people are starting to use this stuff as weight loss tools, and that's not what it was built for. If like I know Jillian interviewed somebody who couldn't even walk anymore or move or do anything. Um, and she cured herself with a juice cleanse. Now that I 100% agree with, but hello, I don't agree with using it as a weight loss tool. People are really destroying their hormones, their everything with this. And the more you do it, the more you got to keep doing it. And the more you got to keep doing it, the less you eat. And the less you eat, the more your thyroid tanks. And the more your thyroid tanks, the more you got to do it just to kind of lose weight. It is a never ending cycle. It is a never ending cycle. It's not much different than bulimia or anorexia. I wish I would have put that in the title. I didn't know that was even going to go here, but no, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, if you've got to do something extreme like that, just do potatoes only for like a month. Like that guy up in Idaho did it for two months, I think it was. He lost 60 pounds. He wasn't even trying to lose weight. He looked pretty good afterwards. He was like the Washington State or Idaho State like potato commissioner, and he went on only potatoes just to show how nutritionally complete they were. And he ended up losing 60 pounds. And or like the Khan study where those two Olympic athletes were put on potatoes only for I have the study. I think it was like 3 or 4. Oh no, I think it was 6 months actually. And they didn't even want to come off of it. Matter of fact, they actually had to start frying their potatoes because they were losing weight so much. And they were getting worried because they were athletes and they were about to do the Olympics in a year or something like that. So yeah, I mean, if you want to do something extreme like that, if you want to reset your taste buds or whatever, fine, potatoes. I mean, this guy, like Pritikin, like I was mentioned a few times in here, there's a chart in the book right over here that says potatoes you can eat daily, but don't do that, with like all other starches. He always found that potatoes helped people the most. And when I did that actually it's 3 week study now of myself, I noticed the same results. I'm telling you, the potatoes digested almost just as good as fruit does. The rice doesn't do that. The rice just clogs me up. I was moving a whole lot better when I was on potatoes only than I am with rice only. So I'm not even going to continue another week of it. I said on Friday I was going to try to make knishes, and then DoorDash got so busy I didn't get back till 10 o'clock, and I was just wanting to eat, so I didn't make them. Maybe I'll do that today. I don't know. Any comments, questions, anything? I didn't intend to get on here for too long because like I said, I got to tear the carpet out of the house. Has anybody actually tried? I guess leave down in the comments. Has anybody actually ever tried only potatoes? Because I would not do fasting. I'm so against it. Like I said, it was originally fasting was a religious thing. And then, people are like, well, they lost weight doing that. And they're like, people just use that. And it just throws your hormones off so bad, so bad. If you're struggling with it, matter of fact, when I wanted to raise my hormone levels, I added a pound of sugar a day and it worked. Oh, how do I turn it off? I don't know how to turn it off. I had to turn it on the one day because I don't know how to turn it off. I don't know how to turn it off slow mode. Edit. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't know. That sucks. I had to turn it on the other day because the questions were coming in so fast. I just could not get to them. Community toggle times. I don't know. It says it's on, but I don't see how to turn it off. Yeah, I don't know how to turn this slow mode off. Learn how. That sucks. I wish there was a toggle right up here, but there's not. And now everybody's gonna leave because I'm whatever. It's on. I didn't intend to be on here very long, anyways. So that's the gist of it. That's where I'm going right now. I'm gonna run with potatoes for a while. How do you sleep last night? I have the same sleep latency problem you have. Not great, but my hip is killing me right now. It's keeping me up all night. I didn't sleep very well last night. Well, once I did fall asleep, I was out. In the evenings, I usually eat potatoes or lentils. Works for me. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I really like doing fruit all day and then at night having starch, but some people really like doing starch all day. I know when I interviewed the trophy twins, they actually came off fruit a lot, like a lot of fruit. Like they just went starch based and they really like it. But I don't, I don't love that. Ryan, how many pounds are you going to do, and do you put something on it? Oh, potatoes? I don't pre-cook potatoes. I only, make what I actually that's a good question. I don't pre-cook anything. But I don't have a normal job that I go to. So if I did, I might have to. But I don't like resistant starch. I don't really think I digest it too well. And once potatoes start cooling down, the starches actually start changing and they're a little harder to digest, and the body just kind of ejects them. Um, so I have decided that I just cook as much potatoes as I'm going to have right now. So I usually make 2 to 3 pounds, depending on what else I'm eating, and then some vegetables, and then just cook it up. I'm trying to invent new ways of. I mean, there's probably no new inventions with the potato, but trying to make different ways of making it so it's keeps it fun. But there is something to be said about simplicity because I noticed that like if you've got different courses and everything meal wise, you just you start thinking about like if you got dessert or something like that, you think about dessert the entire time you're eating. And I don't think that's a very good idea. So I like eating pretty mono, just whatever I can. Like rice though I definitely like to put some kind of soy sauce on there or something fermented or something because it just otherwise it doesn't digest at all. It doesn't digest at all. But I don't really know what else to say about this subject other than in my mind, you got to find like a farmer's market that you're going to go to. You got to maybe even if you're close enough, go to farms and talk to them, see if you can buy from them. I know one year my dad and I actually we turned 50 pounds of potatoes. We grew it in his neighbor's backyard. We got 500 pounds out of that. Potato pancakes, waffles with maple syrup is pretty tasty. Laugh out loud. Yeah, you know what? I keep meaning to buy a waffle iron to make these potato pancakes. I have yet to actually make it myself, but I have had them. I forget where I had it. There's this place in Bethlehem, PA called Vegan Treats, and I think one year that they actually made potato pancakes there for some kind of like I think it was St. Patrick's Day. Matter of fact, I think it was on St. Patrick's Day, and they made quote unquote chicken and waffles, and that's what they did. They made potato pancake or potato waffles, and then they made their own version of fried chicken, and they put that on top with maple syrup. Man, was that good! That place was so close to the post office I worked at the time. Now that place was dangerous. That place was dangerous. They're like award winning. If you get a chance, look them up. Vegan treats. I think they ship now. They're in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, but they gotten a little strange though. I feel the most satiated eating potatoes compared to other starches also makes me feel warmer. I don't need the warmer thing. I'm always hot. Other than when I'm raw, that I'm freezing all the time. I hated that. Uh, Satiating, I haven't really noticed that. I know that the potatoes and oatmeal are listed on the most satiating starches. I honestly have not noticed that at all. Like I really have not. I think rice is actually more satiating than potatoes, but I think that's because my body's just like, you just fed me a brick. I don't know what to do with this. But I like rice so much. I'm like a rice connoisseur. You know how like people drink wine and go do wine taste testing? I'm like that with rice, so it sucks. Hey man, I am suffering with gut issues and candida overgrowth. I tried everything and even fruit sugar destroys me. I'm going to try the potato diet. What's the best potato to eat? White potato. Some variation of white potato. If you can find Yukon, those are like amazing. Absolutely amazing. They're hard to find. Matter of fact, you can find gold potatoes, but like the Yukon gold, like you used to be able to find pretty easily back in the 80s, 90s, are getting harder to find. I found some in a potato farm out of Maine, but they were trying to charge $110 for 20 pounds. I'm like, what the hell? I'd rather just buy one potato from them and just grow my own than then just keep the population going, like, or just buy like 5 pounds or whatever. I think we are meant to be hungry all day. Like, what? Like you're trying to starve yourself all day? I get hungry every 2 hours for some reason. Well, I mean, that means you got a pretty good metabolism. So, and your digestion is good. If your digestion ain't good, you wouldn't have that happening. You guys could hit the like button, send this video out more. Seem to be able to eat far more rice and 100%. Yeah, me too. I can eat 3, 4 dry cups of rice at one sitting. After it's cooked, it's pretty big volume. Yeah, rice is so much easier to pound down than potatoes are, and I think that is the reason that Durian Rider likes it so much. I think that once you get to a point of your digestion working, you're a fat burner, not a fat storer. Once you get to that point, once you get to that Durian Rider point, then you can eat whatever rice or potatoes or whatever that you want to. This is why I've been experimenting with this because Durian Rider always talks about when he added rice in to Freely's plan, the weight started burning off like crazy, and I think it's because that her digestive system was actually healed at that point. I've been talking to a couple other people about this in the background, and that's what our thoughts are on that. Because it just doesn't make sense how some people can digest certain things so well. It just doesn't make sense that it would give other people so much difficulty. I have noticed a load of fruit after potatoes sends me running to the loo. I don't That's terrible food combination. Of course it does. Yeah, your body's like, I don't know what to do with this, and it just sends it out. Don't do that. If you're going to have fruit, have it first in the day. Have it fruit first in the day, give a little while before you eat again, and then have your starches. Man, I would never have that kind of combination going. No way. That just sounds terrible. I see people have, ice cream after they have a starch meal. I guess maybe their digestion's in a lot better place. But I think that's why Walter Kempner's diet did so good because he would add fruit in with rice, and they would have that same evacuation like you did. Like they would have the rice and the fruit and then the sugar, and, sugar causes a peristalsis or whatever effect, however you say that, and it flushes out the system. I think you've lost more weight in the last 2 months or so. It shows on your face. Yeah, I try to show more of me, but it's just so hard with that. I mean, I have no good area in this house to film because everything echoes. Have you tried the frozen pasta from Trader Joe's? It's kind of spicy. It's $3 at Whole Foods. They have a similar. No, I haven't because a lot of the times the prepackaged stuff has a lot of fat in it. I'm watching my phone because my dad's gonna be calling soon. um, yeah, I know I've lost weight in the last couple months here, for sure. But the potatoes 100% were just like a eye opener. I'd never done just potatoes for 2 weeks like that before. I don't think I'd do a potato reset. Well, I've actually done a potato reset. What kind of rice is best? Short grain, 100%. I love short grain. Now, some people, now, if you're going to be making curries and like Indian kind of food, then I think jasmine or basmati is better for that. But, they use a lot of coconut milk and that's really fatty. So I think they use a lot of peanuts too. That's really fatty. I think I'm gonna go to 30 minutes and I gotta be done because my dad's gonna be coming over soon. I gotta tear up this carpet out of my house. So any questions up until then, and I'm gonna be out of here. But anyway, if you're watching this not live, my decision is definitely potatoes are the starch for me. But I would definitely do the test yourself, like I've said like 30 times here. I really wish I had slow mode off so I could see these things as they were coming in. Any more questions? I don't know what else to say. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I guess maybe I'll cut it here then. I'll give it to 27. Several years ago, when I was in the US, I remember shopping at an AMP supermarket. It was dreadful. I didn't even know they were still around. Yeah, there's a lot of terrible grocery stores in, I think, any country. I mean, I can only imagine what grocery stores look like in China. I've been to Chinese grocery stores in New York City and Philadelphia and now Cleveland. They're all so gross. I can only imagine what they look like over in China. Are you a fan of Japanese sweet potatoes? Those are my favorite. They're super sweet. Not a fan. I don't really like sweet potatoes all that much. I finally come to the stream and he talks about ending and well, I don't know what to tell. I'm gonna have to start premiering these things so everybody knows that I'm gonna be on. I really didn't have any idea I was gonna do this today. No idea. Rice digest easy for me, but they feed my yeast like crazy. It just doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe try getting tested for Sibo or something like that. I just not a huge fan of that. Potatoes are the best weight loss starch. Oh, Fruit Kid's on here. Well, now I'm gonna have to stay on here because Fruit Kid's here, right? Are you a fan of Japanese sweet potatoes? Now I answered that question. I don't think sweet potatoes are good at all. Everybody's like, no, you gotta have this kind. No, you gotta have this kind. And I'm like, I've tried them, a lot of them. Yeah, it's just not. I'm just not a fan of sweet potatoes. Now, if you're a fan of sweet potatoes, it's just like I don't like papaya, so I don't like it. So there's more for somebody else. You know, I, it's just it's weird how much food I actually don't like. I came here late. Are you on a potato diet at the moment? No, all right. So I didn't want that message to get out there either. I'm not on a potato diet. Potato is the only starch that I'm going to be using. I am not a fan of these restrictive, crazy ass things. I noticed that potatoes digest the best. If I have SIBO, what do I do? One second. Uh, um, Potatoes digest the best for me. So I just but this is the thing. This is why I make this channel. Like, go experiment on this for yourself. I know Fruit Kid and I did an interview when we talked about like potatoes. Like even raw foodists agree that potatoes are like good for you. If I have SIBO, what do I do? Get rid of it. I know there is a antibacterial that only targets the small intestine. It's not supposed to be that bad, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of buying into the SIBO. I think that you got to just eat pretty bland until it's gone. Do you like sour cream and onions? No. I mean that's dairy anyway. You're doing fruit and roots. Haha, let's go. Yeah. All right. So Yeah, that's another thing. Like when you look at the old message from Freely, it was always go fruit or root yourself. She never really was into the whole rice thing. And her and I might have similar digestion, and you might have better. I don't know. I was watching videos from China from the 70s. They were skinny and mostly farmland. Yeah, of course. And then China just decides that they're going to, I mean, China actually just decided an entire, like millions of people lived in this area, but they decided they wanted to turn it into a dam. They gave them like 2-week notice to say we're going to be turning this area into a dam. And they like everybody that lived there had to leave or die in the water because they turned their entire area into a water-filled dam. So, China's a little crazy with what they do, and that they're actually eating more potatoes now than they do rice because they find that potatoes grow better and more abundantly. So, but it's not helping their cause though because they're adding so much Western style eating, like all the meat, all the dairy, that they're having the same Western diseases that Westerners have. So, take that as an example. Watch what these other countries that went from third world countries to first world countries and the way their diets change and what the diseases increase to. I mean, they increase thousandfold. It's crazy. So, take that into consideration when you're actually thinking about what you're going to eat. But yeah, Chinese have actually switched over to eating more potatoes now. But the Japanese, I think, are still rice word bound. But it's what they've eaten their entire existence, so they're really good at making it. I know they use a lot of fermented stuff to help it break down before it gets, into the small intestine. But yeah. So are you doing the same thing, Fruit Kid? We should do an interview again. We should do another interview. I'm trying to get as many people on here as possible. I thought about starting another channel though, because this one's really getting suppressed. Any more questions? What do you think about the meat and fruit diet from Carnivore MD? I think it's stupid. The reason this carnivore thing is doing so well is because you got no fiber in the carnivore, but it backs you up. And I saw that interview that Durian Rider did with that carnivore dude, whatever his name is. He was bragging about only going to the bathroom like number 2, like taking a dump like 2 or 3 times a week. Dude, I had a lady from China say to me she was cutting out rice to lose weight. I almost collapsed. What in the world? They look at how skinny they were. Actually, matter of fact, I haven't actually even seen any fat Asians here, and they eat nothing but rice. Chinese burgers and fries are many times fatter than American burgers and fries. They put green food coloring in their bread. Yeah, so this is another thing that Chinese especially try to overdo everything. They see like, well, the Americans put like 30 grams of fat in per ounce of, whatever. And then they're like, we'll put 50, it's ridiculous what they do over there. Do you live near a chemical spill in East Palestine? Are the chickens dropping dead everywhere? Well, the water tasted like shit. I'll tell you what. I went and bought a couple of containers of RO, like the 5 gallons. I only live 100 miles from where that happened. Yeah, and it's suspicious how the media doesn't know that it's happening. They won't report on it. I did a week raw. It was great. And then I did one night of pasta. I gained 4 pounds, only lost 1 pound raw. But I mean, you can't gain 4 pounds of fat off pasta. So it was water weight. But blood sugar were fantastic. Can't wait to be normal and eat other things. I don't know, man. Chances are you got liver and kidney issues. Carnivore MD has to be on TRT. Well, all of them are. All of these carnivore doctors that are pushing this stuff, or the keto doctors or whatever, these keto people are all on testosterone. Look at the size of these people. I mean, that was my world for years. Yeah, that was my world for years. I was in that world for 20 years of that lifting life. I mean, I can spot them from a mile away. I just hate needles, so I never got on it myself. Never knew water could taste bad. Wow. Oh my, it was terrible. It was giving me heartburn. So whatever they put in, and actually there's people about 50 miles from here when they were boiling water, it was turning white. So that stuff was in their water. Yes, I do have liver, kidney, and diabetes. Oh my gosh. I would go raw vegan then. I wouldn't even mess around with it. He's saying that he has liver, kidney, and diabetes, man. That's bad news bears. If it were me, I would go raw vegan. Have you ever thought why McDougal doesn't get the fruit-based world, when starch and fruit have the same macros, but fruit easier to digest? Largely because he's built his reputation on starch, I think. Calls it Starch Wars. I'm sorry, I'm watching out for, my dad's supposed to be calling. I gotta he's helping me out. Carnivore MD looks pretty good for being 50. Of course, he's on he's a doctor, he's got money, he's on YouTube, makeup and all that kind of stuff, and he's on testosterone. That's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, if I had all that issues, a matter of fact, that was my gateway into vegan. It was going wrong. Do you think you are immune to diabetes? Me? Why do you always ask it? This shark era, man, you and your diabetes. I swear, you want everybody on the planet to have a diabetes. I'm talking about within 2 years, he looks completely different. Yeah, I mean, that's what testosterone will do. It will completely change. You'll get more hair. You have it's like a wonder drug. Well, for men anyway. For women, it makes them look crazy. It looks terrible. If you guys could hit that like button, anybody who hasn't. All right. Yeah, I mean, this testosterone, man, as soon as you go on that stuff, it changes your world. I mean, I can't even tell you the differences I've seen in people, but it will age you. Do you want to eat potatoes or fries for the week? Like what kind of fries? I'm just gonna do potatoes as my starch. I've recently been diagnosed stage 3. Is that colon? I don't even know what that means. Diagnosis stage 3 colon, maybe. Um, Raw foods, man. If I had any kind of stage, whatever, I would 100% be raw. Carnivore MD interviewed Georgie recently. He claims carbs and meat is the diet for humans. Yeah, I know that's the one part about Georgie that I'm not a big fan of. I know that his people told me to contact him at the end of this month to get him on here. What are your thoughts on ex-vegans that say they need meat? I think that they have I think ex-vegans that have go on meat and get cured have digestive issues, and meat obviously has no fiber in it. I think that's why they're finding this cure. Just like Liver King, he claims he's 30 days natty now. I have only known about this Liver King guy for like a day. I he's on roids, I'll tell you what. I mean, taking roids, with a needle does bypass the liver a little bit, but it's not going to bypass the liver totally. So it's really going to take your liver down with it. Um, do you watch anime? Not really. Um, Not really. My favorite was Neon Genesis, but I really don't watch too much anymore. Mm-mm. Yeah, my thoughts on the ex-vegan though. I don't either that or these ex-vegans, a lot of them, if you watch them, they all starve themselves and they're probably low on everything. Oh, chronic kidney disease. Well, I'm sure if I got a diagnosis for mine, I would have had the same thing. Is Costco back to the kidney thing? Honestly, I would go raw. I really would. Really would. Um, Is Costco do you have, like, ammonia smelling? Do you smell pretty terrible? I know I did when my kidneys were really bad. Is Costco or BJ's worth it? No, I don't think so. Like I said in the beginning of this, if you rewatch this, I really, I was shocked at, how much more expensive it is, than I thought, really. You know, they get you with these huge volumes of stuff, and maybe they are good for other things, like non-food related things. But as far as food, I predict you will be an ex-vegan one day. You know, dude, I'm so sick of your stupid negativity, man. Like, if you're gonna be negative like that, just go away. No ammonia smell. I mean, I'm so ex-vegan one day. I've been vegan for what? How many years? 15, something, 12, whatever. DR without roids was like 135, 140 pounds. Now with his roids, he's 180. That's a huge, yeah, of course. You know, taking steroids is like like if you can imagine, like if you have like this little key that opens a door, or like your body's normally just taking these little keys and opening doorways, where it's like steroids is like using a bulldozer to knock the door down. And it just it your recovery ability is so immediate when you're on steroids. It's not, you can literally just recover from a workout as it's happening. Can you find an ex-vegan who has done blood tests or spoke to a plant-based doctor? Because I haven't. No, that's the thing. A lot of like, and if you watch, if they're ex-vegans and if they had a vegan channel, if you watch them, there's a lot of starvation going on there. You know, breatharian, trying to live on broccoli juice, kale. It's really, this is a lot of the ex-vegans. Have you been to Denmark? No, I have not been to Denmark. Is Walmart still everywhere in the US, or have they fallen in popularity? In the UK, Walmart is called ASDA. Um, I no, I don't think Walmart's fallen in popularity. Ironically, they were illegal in their own state that they're out of for a while. I don't know if they're allowed back or not. I'm new to your channel. Are you currently on a weight loss journey? Kinda. I'm more on a figure out how my digestive system works journey. I mean, I lost 145 pounds. I really wish I would have started this channel under different pretenses. Been vegan almost 7 years. Longer I'm vegan, the more absurd the idea of, yeah, I mean, just the smell of animal flesh alone after you've been vegan for a while will tell you why you don't eat it. That's why I don't know how there's so many ex-vegan. The only thing I can think is they're dumping a ton of sugar, brown sugar, cinnamon, and everything on the meat, and then of course breading. You know, breading tastes amazing. You know, so if they're frying things, maybe it's the breading. I don't know, but I mean, when you smell that stuff, ugh. Like, I go over to my parents, they cook it all the time, and it's just terrible. Would you ever visit Ireland? I would, make you a high carb. Yeah, I would love to go to Ireland. Have they, lifted the stupid restrictions for getting over there? Yeah, I would love to go to Ireland. I got family over there I probably could visit. I know there's some in Clare and there's some in Dublin. Um, actually some other, I mean, they're so fabulously wealthy, they don't really work, so they're wherever they want. But, yeah, I would love to go to Ireland, and try the potatoes out there too. I talked to a couple of English people, and they tell me about these, potatoes they got over there. I wanna try them. I can't find them over here. King Edward's, I think, is one of them, and then there's a couple others. I really wanna try those out. Yeah, that would be great. Maybe I'll make that happen somehow. I don't know. You just never know where this year is gonna go. Um Had a few potato dishes on a visit to Dublin, very good. Yeah, I can imagine how good the potatoes are there, you know, it's the perfect soil for it, that and oatmeal. 0, oh, good, no restrictions anymore? Yeah, alright. I gotta get my passport renewed and everything like that. Um, yeah, I gotta get out of this country for a little while this year, so maybe Ireland will be, go back home. Yeah. That'd be awesome. I'll do some video out in Ireland. I still don't know. I still may start another channel and just kind of let this one do what it's gonna do. uh anyway, I think I went longer than I was going to. Any more? Final call. I would love to go to Ireland, matter of fact. Can you get potato dishes over there that don't have milk in it though? Because I know Irish are obsessed with the milk. I can't stomach more than a couple of white potatoes at a time, but I love Japanese sweet potatoes and the purple yams. Then do it that way. I think a visit to the Guinness factory is obligatory. I don't want to go down that path again, though, man. I get addicted to beer and then I just start drinking too much. Keep us informed in your new channel. Yeah, I will. I'll probably announce it on my Instagram instead of here. Do you do intermittent? No, intermittent fast. I don't do fasting of any kind. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I fast when I'm sleeping. What's the best macro ratio? 80-10-10 or lower. I mean, there's some that say 95-5, but 80-10-10 works pretty good, especially if you're raw. 80-10-10 came from raw vegans, and the raw fat digests 100% easier than cooked, but I'm not saying it's any better. Hello from Germany. Oh, Sandy would be happy. Yeah, I like Germany too. Germany does a lot of potatoes. Thanks for doing this, Ryan. Hey, no problem. Yeah, I really wanted to get, because I'm seeing so many people bragging about Costco, but when I compare prices at Costco to Trader Joe's or even stores that I got around here, it just ain't worth doing, man. Because you got to pay what, $120 a year for that? It's just not worth it. I just don't think it's worth it. You know, if you get a free membership somehow, or if you can join up with somebody, maybe it's worth it, because it is a little, more bulk. But on the whole, man, I just don't think that the price is worth, because everybody's always bragging about it. And, when you really do, price comparisons, they're not that great. I know I've gone on and on about that, but I'm just, I also don't think that doing these juice fasts is a very good idea unless you're really sick. I don't think, a lot of the stuff people are doing is a very good idea. I think it's terrible for the vegan thing. I pretty much only use my Costco membership for frozen blueberries. Yeah, on the frozen, it might make up some money there. Yeah, their frozen section. But I mean, I wouldn't want to pay a membership just for frozen blueberries, on top of the fact that I get a ton from my dad during the summer and then I freeze them all. You know, his are wild blueberries too. So one of these days, I'll probably just have a huge farm somewhere. Well, one of the things I want to do is have a huge farm and then house and employ homeless people, and they can work on the farm. Now, but I'm not gonna, I'm not like a 2 or 3 strike thing. You mess up once, you're out of here and find somebody else. you know, I mean, it's no different than when I was a manager at the banks or something like that. I'm not giving you 3 strikes. You're out of here. Um, so yeah. My ghost stores is Grocery Outlet and Sprouts. Man, we don't have Sprouts here anymore, which is similar to the store to Trader Joe's. Yeah, we used to have Sprouts, but they left. I think because there's like a bunch of Whole Foods and a bunch of Trader Joe's here. I don't understand juice fast. They chug quarts of that stuff. Yeah, unless you're really in a very dire straits type situation, if you're like, um, if your health is really bad, a juice fast is good for that. Would you ever interview Doug Graham? Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, that's how I got into this, is Doug Graham and a couple other people. I got no issues with the raw vegan thing at all. Like, if you can find good fruit, if you like doing it, if you don't mind freezing all the time, I think it's great. Yep, Sprouts is where I shop. Yeah, Sprouts used to be awesome, but like I said, once there was 2 Whole Foods that moved within like 10 miles of them, and I think it put them out of business. I have a juicer in my mouth. Yeah. That's the thing. We are juicers. But I do like juicing, I do like juicing oranges because they taste like shit. But if you juice enough of them, they taste like oranges, like the only oranges that are good are those Sumo oranges, and they're like 2.99 a piece. Do you eat organic? When I can, like the organic potatoes even now are getting almost $2 a pound. I'm not paying that. I would rather just do the research and find farms locally that don't use a ton of fungicides and pesticides. If it will still sprout, chances are they didn't use a whole lot of stuff. So that's a good test. If you buy potatoes and they won't sprout, don't eat them. I like Caracara oranges. Yeah, they got those at Trader Joe's, Caracara oranges. If you got a Trader Joe's by you, Trader Joe's has pretty good ones. I mean, they got them at Costco too, but why pay more? I just, I'm just not a fan anymore. I thought it was a lot of fun going to these big box stores, but it's just not worth it. Wash and peels potatoes to get rid of most of the pesticides. See, but the thing is most of the nutrition's in the skin. A potato is good and hasn't been processed a lot if if the skin is really thin on it. Like when you get potatoes at a farmer's market and the skin is almost peeling off, that's a fresh potato right there. The food prices are insane. Yeah, of course they are. And that's another thing like against the raw vegan. Do you eat when you are hungry or do you no, I don't force myself to eat. Somebody's asking if I eat when I'm hungry or force myself to eat. Actually, half the time like I'm hungry right now. I'm not even eating because I don't feel like sloshing food on the microphone here. Yeah, I'm not a proponent of this durian rider eat before you're, maybe I should be. I don't know. Maybe that's the secret to this whole weight loss life. But I certainly didn't do that losing the 145 pounds that I did. Um, I think that your body judges the daily, like how many calories you got or how much energy I should say that you got during that day. And if you got enough, then it operates like it's supposed to. I don't think it's got a time clock out every minute. You know, I don't know. That's a durian rider thing. We agree on a lot, but I don't agree on some of the stuff that he says. May as well just go to an hour at this point. All right. Any more questions, concerns? If you haven't hit the like button, if you could, it'll send the video out to more people. I really wish I had this slow mode off so I could actually see when people are typing. I'm not going to put that on next time. Of course, then I probably won't be able to read everything. Is this him? Okay, he's only almost going to be here. If I eat in raw vegan, when am I hungry? I feel 200 grams of carbs per day. Fruit tastes terrible. How durian did 30 bananas a day. 30 bananas a day isn't hard to do if you're adding dates to it. I know Fruit Kid loves that combination, and that's what Durian Rider used to do. And bananas used to taste way better. And if you're not eating them ripe, they're going to taste terrible, and they're going to be terrible for you. They're not going to digest well. If they're not spotty, don't eat them. Or if you get Thai bananas actually are better when they're like a deep yellow. If Thai bananas, if they peel silently, then they're ripe. Raw is the best weight loss. Victoria ate the same calories and lost weight doing no starch, but same amount of calories. Talking about nutrition by Victoria. Yeah, I just interviewed. Actually, I think that video is gonna be out tomorrow. I interviewed her on Friday, or Thursday, someday. Raw is the best for weight loss. If you can do raw, if you can afford it, if you can find the stuff to do raw, it is the best way to go. I'll tell you what. You're gonna lose weight so fast you're not even gonna know what hit you. Do you think there is a difference between processed sugar and fruit sugar? Well, there's a difference, but I don't think it's necessary to stay away from sugar. I think sugar is a good thing to add to your food now because the fruit just doesn't taste that good. I have been on Peter Rogers' binge lately. Yeah, he's got some good stuff, but he contradicts himself. He contradicts himself. He's supposedly anyway. Somebody told me that he's got a video talking about how raw fruit weight loss is so efficient, and then he tells you not to eat fruit because it makes you fat. I'm like, okay, how does that make sense? Ryan, you're a lion. I'm a lion, huh? I am a Leo. I was born in August. So that makes sense, I guess. And Ryan actually means little king. So I guess they all go together. I like raw soaked oatmeal. It's just hard to find that kind that isn't soaked in glyphosate. Well, technically, if it's organics, it supposedly doesn't have glyphosate in it. Supposedly, that's what they say. But now most of the good oatmeal comes out of Ireland, and Scotland claims that they got good oatmeal too. But I'm Irish, so I'm gonna side with my people. And I don't know if they use glyphosates or not, but now they're using like cricket parts in there and that sort of thing. So I'd imagine the oatmeal is probably going to have cricket parts in it. Do they have like an abundance of crickets now? I have no idea. I don't know what the hell is causing that one. Is oatmeal an optimal carb? All right, so we'll do the test for yourself. See if you like it or not. And a lot of people like oatmeal. I'm not a fan of it. There's no way raw fruit makes you gain weight. No, that's the thing. He made a video supposedly. I gotta find it about um how fast you're gonna lose weight on fruit, and then he tells you not to eat fruit because it'll make you fat. Like, okay. Scottish oatmeal won't as it is in the oh. I don't think is Ireland in the EU either because I know Irish like to rebel against the EU, so they might not, but they probably are. The Irish really have disappointed me in this last decade. If the Scots aren't in the EU, then that might actually be the better oatmeal to go if Ireland is in the EU. I can't remember, but the Isle of Man, I don't think is doing any part of this. And if they can grow oatmeal there, which I don't see why they couldn't, then that oatmeal might be really good. So I don't know if you're over that way or if you can import it here. I mean, I would really look into that, see which ones are in the EU and which ones aren't. How many calories do you eat a day on average? I have no idea. Is Ireland in the EU? Man, my own people, man. I still don't understand. I just don't understand. In 1920, when our freedom was bought, they wouldn't stand for the royalty at the Olympics, and now they're bowing down to the EU. I just don't understand my own people, man. I just don't get it. I need to go over there and teach these people a lesson. Um, how many calories do you eat a day on average? More than 1,000 and less than 10,000. I have no idea. Somewhere in there. Uh it's probably like 3,000 or so. I don't want to say it's less than Nutrition by Victoria because that would just be ridiculous. I don't know. I really don't. I just eat when I'm hungry. How you must do a show about the crickets in the yeah, I thought about doing a show about the crickets in that being forced in the EU. Pauline did a video about it. Maybe go watch hers if you know who Pauline is. It doesn't affect America so yet, but I'm sure it will. I eat rice and I feel like I eat just a massive clay, always still hungry. Yeah, if you have an issue when you eat rice and you feel like you just ate a brick, then chances are you shouldn't be eating it. Yeah, I wouldn't touch it. And that's actually what I went through too. And that's why I started like really questioning whether or not I should be eating the rice. Now, I'm not saying rice is bad, and I'm not saying at some point in the future when everything is finally, healed, I can't eat it. I just can't believe how long it's taken me to heal. I think my terrible sleep has played a lot into this though. What you thought on medical medium guy? He said that calories, nutrition don't matter. You can survive on banana only and no deficiency. You could survive on banana only for a certain amount of time. I know like Freely used to do like 30 days of nothing but bananas, but at some point I think you're going to hit deficiencies. Supposedly in the future we will be eating bugs. Yeah, I don't know what these people are doing. One of these people are going to go too far one time and they're going to find out that they went too far the hard way. When you went from keto to high sugar or high carb, didn't you crave fatty foods? No. If you're eating enough food energy, then you won't crave much of anything. I didn't crave anything. The only thing that I had a hard time with was dairy. Who is Freely? Check her out, Banana Girl. Um, you finally caught my live as I'm getting off. Uh, I, that sucks, man. I'm sorry. How did you lose weight? Raw, keto, or rice diet? Raw mostly. It fell off with raw. Speaking of going back to the fatty foods, I actually had to add a lot of fat back into my raw because I was losing weight too fast. It was just coming off. Like it was scary how fast it was coming off. So I just started adding it back in. Yeah, like I think I was doing like a avocado a day, which isn't a ton, but I really didn't want to lose weight too fast because of the loose skin. I've caved a couple of times for pizza, but it's nothing compared to my weekly hauls of chocolate ice cream and chicken nuggets. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna cave if you don't eat enough food. I heard you like KFC. What is with this KFC thing? No, I don't like KFC. I haven't liked KFC since they got rid of the all you can eat buffet in the city I grew up in. That was pretty sweet. I was never really a fan of KFC though. Not a huge fan. Wendy's was my go-to. Do you eat fats now? Avocados blow up meat. No, I don't eat a ton of fat. What would you do the raw food once a week? I've actually had Wednesday this week. I was completely raw. I do actually still have days where I'm completely raw. I'll rewind, watch later. Yeah, it should post right after I hit end stream or whatever. It should post right up. Um, yeah, a couple times a week I still do fully raw. I just don't make a ton. I mean, you can only film so much. I mean, I try to, there's other things. Put a link to Pauline's video, please. I don't know who she is. All right. If I think of it, I don't know who came up with that rumor. Yeah, I don't know who came up with the KFC rumor either, but it does sound like something Durian Ryder would say. If I'm not losing weight immediately, I'm on KFC. Are you doing the Starch Solution maximum weight? Oh, no. No. If you want to lose weight, do not do the maximum weight loss, man. Whew, that is so bad. It's terrible. Look at these people. They're trying to survive on 1,500 calories and chugging the coffee. No way. Uh-uh. Even the creator of the maximum weight loss wishes he didn't even create it. He says people take it too extreme. I used to love KFC potato. Oh yeah, man, their KFC potato wedges are real good. I think that's what Durian Ryder's always talking about. When I did raw for a week after I was craving pasta, I don't even like pasta, so I ate it. Then I realized I think the parasites will dictate what you're eating. When you go raw, you're gonna see some stuff come out of you wish you didn't see. At least I did. I had worms coming out. I had all kind of stuff coming out. It was pretty rough. And then you realize just how much damage that stuff does, the keto. A lot of people are going to find out the hard way by finding themselves 6 feet deep. Yeah. This keto thing's gone on way too long. I can't, but I have noticed a real trend in raw vegan, which I think is all right. I don't think that you need to go that extreme if you don't have anything that you're healing. But I don't know. If you're massively overweight or if you have other things that you're healing, raw vegan probably is the best thing to go to. Bananas are going to be your friend. Learn to like bananas. But doing just raw, I feel like I would never get enough calories. Why? I mean, shit, I was probably eating 8,000 calories a day on raw when I lost 145 pounds. And it's not hard. I mean, there was days where they have like 30, 40 bananas plus whatever other seasonal fruit there was, like mangoes and shit, dates. It's not hard to get calories on raw, and add sugar to it if you need. I like plant-based vegan, but not raw. Yeah, if you don't like it, don't do it. A lot of people don't, and you get a lot colder. I don't know what that's all about. I'm gonna have to get going soon. I'd like to keep this going, but my dad's coming over because I got to tear the carpet out of the house. Anything else? It's crazy. I was going to stop this half hour ago. Now people are joining. I'm going to have to premiere these things so everybody knows what they're having. How much weight are you right now? I really don't know. I don't like taking weight. If I had to guess, I'd be 250, 260 somewhere. When I was raw, it was very extreme. I couldn't eat starch too because I couldn't eat enough starch. I would end up binging on it. It would take me years to get back to a balance. Well, if you do raw, without enough calories, yeah, you're gonna have binges, but if you do it right, it's really not that hard. 50 banana somebody saying that they had binges on raw, I could see it, but I think if you ripen it up enough bananas and got dates, you'll be fine. I don't think that you can do raw vegan legit without bananas and dates. I just don't think you can do it. People are living for pleasure from their food, which is mostly fast food. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like that's another thing. Like if you really are only deriving pleasure out of what you're eating, um, I would go like a mono diet for a little while and get rid of that. I like the rice diet, but use potatoes sometimes instead of. I think the rice diet would work just as good with potatoes instead of rice. Might even work better. Might even work better, but I think that rice and fruit combine way better than, potatoes and fruit do. So if you're gonna have fruit and potatoes, I really think that you gotta have them way separate of each other, but that's just me. Some people, can eat whatever they want to whenever they want to. Alrighty, I'm gonna call it here, but I'm gonna keep doing these fairly often, but I am gonna let everybody know, um, when I start the next one. Are you vegan for the animals? No, I never went vegan for the animals. I'm not saying that I'm not now, but that was never the intention. Some people are, and I actually think the people who are actually the worst of the vegans because they're psychotic usually. They get in people's faces, they eat all the junk food, and they're usually pretty overweight. And I think they're the worst of the worst. I think they're the ones that give vegans a bad name. Now, I'm not saying that I want to hunt animals or anything, but yeah, I do think that there's an issue with, some of them. They fly off the handle too easy, and they're usually trying to be breatharians, living on broccoli and cauliflower and all that. Alrighty, I gotta get going here, but, this was fun. No, I don't crave meat. The day I stopped eating meat, I stopped craving it. I make steamed potatoes with salt and corn tortillas. Sounds terrible, but, I mean, if you like it, go for it. So what's your stance on animal welfare? I have no vendetta against there's no cow that I wanted to go cut their head off. I don't want them to be hurt. But if somebody asked if I think you asked actually if I went vegan for the animals. No, it was for the animal that I am. I was dying. But I don't think the animal agriculture can last much longer. It's just destroying too much of the planet. And we don't need it, and they don't need it. I mean, if you look at the whole thing, it's a circle jerk all the way around because the food that feeds them comes from Africa largely, the stuff that and then we're taking their food, they're starving to death, and then we feed it to animals, we kill them, and then you eat it, and then you die. So that everybody in the whole chain is dead. It's ridiculous. Um, it's pointless. But but anyway, I gotta eat and I got a bunch of stuff to do. So, think I'm gonna call it here, but thanks for joining. They say avocados Neil. Thanks, brother, for your reply. Yep, no problem. All right. I see more people are getting on here now, of course. Potato tacos. So you make potatoes into tacos? I don't understand what you're saying. I thanks for the stream. Hey, no problem. I think you were the first one on here. Um, if I keep answering questions, I'll be on here all day. I really got to get going. But I'm gonna try to do these a couple times. I really got to figure out what if everybody who's watching this, if you made it this far, in the comment section, write what timeline or what time zone you're in, so I could figure out what the best time is to get on here. All right, I'm gonna get going, but thanks for joining, and I will talk to you next time.